what kind of client acquisition systems are going to enable you to be able to scale your agency from $0 to $10,000 per month as quickly as possible? That's the topic of this video today. We're going to go through a marketing system that you can execute on to help you with client acquisition in the stage of going from $0 to $10,000 per month with your agency. Whether you're doing SMMA or you're doing web design or you're doing copywriting, whatever service you're providing, doesn't matter. You have an agency. You're providing a service as that you're going to get paid for. Okay, cool. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Now, I personally also utilize this system that I'm going to explain with you, not to the full extent, but partially. When I was starting my agency at 19 years old, and I was able to scale from $0 to $10,000 per month in less than 90 days, okay? So hopefully you'll get the same end result, but keep in mind, we're not gonna talk about niches, we're not gonna talk about service that you're gonna offer, anything like this. We're just gonna try to keep focused around the marketing system that you need to execute on to help you with getting clients, okay? Really simple. Now, again, if you don't know who I am, my name is Taylor Bencher. I started an agency at 19, scaled it to 10,000 per month in 90 days, and now I'm 25, dear Lord, halfway to 50. And our agency is on pace to do about $1.8 million in revenue this year. We fluctuate between 130 to 160 in revenue right now. It's a really exciting time. We're hoping to hit $200,000 in MRR, monthly recurring revenue, before the end of this year. That's our goal. So hopefully we hit it. But let's get into this video. Got a lot of agency experience, and I think I could really help you. This whole channel also has nearly 300 plus videos on helping you start and scale an agency. Okay, so first we're going to talk about inbound versus outbound. Then we're going to talk about a hybrid model. This is the model I actually want to explain to you that I think you should be executing on. So first, let's define inbound versus outbound, okay? So we're going to put inbound over here, and we're going to put outbound over here. Now, very, very simple. The way that you should think about inbound is that it's a process of farming, okay? So you're farming for ideal clients. So this is like your beautiful little farm, you know, it's grass and some dirt. And the way that you want to think about outbound is kind of like spearfishing, and you're hunting in a sense. So spearfishing, hunting, whatever, rifle, like you're going out to go and get like a kill, so to speak. You're trying to go and find the exact thing that you're looking for and get it. Whereas farming, you're kind of planting seeds or watering them. It's a lot more chill. Okay, that's inbound and outbound from a very primal perspective, and that's very abstract. So let me just come back to reality here and explain it to you so you can better understand it. Inbound is a process of executing on things that will raise awareness of your service so that people reach out to you. They come to you. They literally come, quote unquote, inbound to you and say, hey, I'm interested in your services, okay? Outbound is somebody who has no idea who you are, or maybe they do know who you are, but not really. And you're going to them and saying, hey, I have this service. I think I could really help you. This is the difference between inbound and outbound. I'm gonna say it one more time. Inbound, people are coming to you. Outbound, you are going to them. Very simple, okay? And so typically when you're looking at an outbound marketing strategy, you know, it has a lot of cold email slash outreach, okay? That's really what outbound is mostly all about. Now, when you look at inbound, it's mostly about one thing: content. Okay, there's other sub brackets underneath this, like referrals is also part of inbound. Okay, so let's talk now, do you understand inbound and outbound, about a hybrid model that you can use and some practical things you can do so that you can go from $0 to $10,000 per month in ideally less than 90 days like I was able to achieve. By the way, at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about something called Agency Birth. It's a free program that I'm about to launch, and we have a waiting list, and I'm going to announce the waiting list. It'll be in the link, the description of this video. There'll be a link to the waiting list, but free program, and it's literally designed to help you go from $0 to $10,000 per month. So you don't have to pay me anything, I swear to God. At least right now, we're going to launch it for free for like 100 people. So join the waiting list. Anyways, we're going to talk about that at the end. So now let's talk about the hybrid model. Okay, this is super important because a lot of people struggle in the beginning. They're not sure. Should they do inbound? Should they do cold outreach, cold calling, cold emailing, cold DMing on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on social? Like, is that the route to go for client acquisition, or should you do content? Should you try to write blogs? Should you try to write posts on LinkedIn, write posts on Facebook? Create a Facebook group and try to create content in a community there. Doing SEO. These are, speaking on podcasts, doing your own podcast, like speaking at events. There's a million different things you can do inbound. Okay. And then there's a lot you can do outbound. And a lot of people really don't know what they should do or what they should focus on. But here's the system that I'm going to give you that worked really well for me. Now, keep in mind, I didn't execute on it in this way. I had no idea. I was just had no idea what I was doing. So I was doing the best I could. But now, our agency is 15 times greater than $10,000 per month, and I have a better understanding. So what I recommend you do is start with outbound. Okay. Number one, start with outbound. Now, what do you want to do when you start with outbound? The first thing you want to do is you want to define your ICP. This is really fundamental. You should do this before you even consider marketing. The first step in building an agency, which I didn't really want to touch on this in this video because I want to keep this specific to marketing, is you need an ideal client profile, an ICP. It's a client avatar, ICP, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so who is it that you're going after, right? And what service are you offering them? Once you know these two things, so your ICP and your service offering, right? I call this service market fit. Some people like to call this niche, whatever you want to call it. You need to have this defined. But once you have that defined, you should begin building a database of ICPs. Okay, this is really important. We have this in our agency. I'm not telling you to do this, and we don't do this. This is what we've been doing for years, since day one. Really, literally since day one, we've been doing this. You want to build a database, and you want to be sourcing ICPs every single day. Okay, so what does that mean, sourcing ICPs? Specifically, you would ideally source 10 to 20 per day, especially if you care about scaling your agency as quickly as you possibly can. This number, the higher you can make it, the better. Okay? I just want to be clear on that. So sourcing ICPs every day means going out and finding ideal client profiles, adding them into your database. So imagine a Google Sheet. You have first name, John, last name, Bentarud, LinkedIn profile, Facebook profile, email, a company, website, whatever it is that you need. There maybe will be 6 columns, nothing more, really simple. Okay, you can add a date column that will show you when you found that person, just so you can keep track of how many people you're sourcing per day. Once you've got in the groove of sourcing 10 to 20 per day, outsource the sourcing. Okay, what does that mean? Hire somebody in the Philippines or somebody in India or Pakistan or wherever, somebody where labor is relatively cheaper than wherever you're living. Now, if you're living in one of those countries, you're blessed because you can just find that person next door to you or whatever, and that's amazing and that's phenomenal. But outsource, this is really not, this is a $2 to $3 per hour task. And so you don't really want to be doing that for very long. And if you have a little bit of money, a little bit of cash, I highly recommend you invest $100 per month into outsourcing the sourcing process of the ICPs. Okay. So once you're consistent with sourcing ICPs, at the end of the week, you should have between 50 to 100 ICPs. So by the end of the month, you should have between 250 to 500 ICPs. Now, this is only if you're doing 10 to 20 a day, which really isn't a lot. You could do 30 or 40 a day, which means you could go from, like I said, 250 to 500 to 500 to 1,000 or whatever it is, even more than that. So once you're done, or you're really in the flow of sourcing, now you want to get in the groove of outreach. Okay. Now, outreach is very overcomplicated in a lot of different ways, or oversimplified based on some of the mistakes that I see people making in SMMA or just in any outreach scenario. When it comes to outreach, I've made a lot of videos of this in the channel before, and I don't want to go too deep on it right now, but keep the message simple, keep it direct, keep it very valuable, try to make it unique, try to make it customized and personalized if you can. But you can start super simple. You know, I have one of the most popular videos on the channel is Trojan Horse Marketing. It's a video where we talk about really in depth an outreach strategy that we use that had a phenomenal response rate. It had like a 10% call booking rate for over a year at one point in time. And now averages 2 to 3% call booking rates, but that's still phenomenally high for an outreach strategy. Anyways, you need to figure out just a basic outreach process, and you should get in the groove of messaging those 10 to 20 people per day outreach. Okay. And again, this 10 to 20 per day can be outsourced. You can outsource it to a virtual assistant for $2 to $3 per hour, or even better, you can automate it with a software. There's many different softwares that will help you automate your outreach. Okay. So you want to get this system running first, Outbound. You want to really get in the groove of that. That's ideal. And then this is a good, really solid foundation for you. Then once you have that, you want to start doing some inbound. Okay, now inbound. We're going to talk about the relationship between outbound and inbound and this hybrid model and why the hybrid model is so important. Okay? Inbound, you want to start doing as soon as you have this system rolling. As soon as this system is rolling and it's good to go, like you're really in the groove with your outbound, check. Okay, fantastic. Shouldn't be taking you a whole lot of time to manage this system, especially if you've outsourced and the sourcing and the outreach, or you've automated the outreach and you've outsourced the sourcing, or you've automated the sourcing as well. Amazing. Okay, but get that system rolling. Now from here, inbound is super important. We want to start posting content, okay? And specifically, we ideally want to start putting out content where the prospects and ICPs are that you're connecting with. So ideally, when you're doing outreach, you're not just sending emails. Sending emails is great, but ideally you're also connecting with them on social. That's even more powerful long term, because now they'll see your posts when you post on social, right? So if your outreach process is a multi-channel outreach process, meaning you're sending emails, you're sending LinkedIn messages, you're sending Facebook messages, whatever it is. Let's just say you're doing the first two, which is you're sending an email and you're sending a LinkedIn connection request and a LinkedIn message. So it's a multi-channel outreach process. And there's softwares that will help you automate this. We're not going to go in depth to that, but if you want to know, you can comment and ask me. I'm happy to talk about the softwares and share that with you. If you have that multi-channel outreach process, and let's say the social platform that you're reaching out to is LinkedIn, then you want to start putting out content on LinkedIn, on that platform. Why? Because this is really where you see the long-term ROI, okay? The return on investment for doing all of this, for doing all the sourcing. Because you have to understand that outbound, when you're doing outbound, you're knocking on doors and you're really interrupting people's day. And you're saying, hey, do you need this? Can you buy my service? Do you want to buy my service? Are you interested in my service today? Today, right now, right? And the reality is that, 1 to 2% of the market or the ICPs that you're reaching out to will be ready for your service. Unless you're in a ridiculously blue ocean, such as our agency was when we started doing outreach. So we had like a 10% call booking rate. It was insane. Unfortunately, we didn't have the systems operationally to deal with scale and a lot of other things. It was just chaos. I didn't know how to run an agency. But the market average is, maybe 1 to 2% of people that you reach out to are considering a service that you'd be offering. But the 98% of that 98% that isn't looking for it, that won't even respond to your outreach message, maybe in 3 months, another 5% of that 98 will be ready. Okay? And so the way you have to try to imagine it is, okay, 98% aren't going to be ready. So what can I do to maintain their attention and continue to raise their awareness of my agency over time so that when they are ready, I can win that cohort, that segment of the ICPs in my database when they are ready. And if you do content long enough, consistently, along with reaching out to prospects long enough and consistently, your pipeline just starts to explode. Like it just kind of goes like this. And then like, you know, it at some point it'll reach kind of an exponential scale, or it'll peter out depending on how your market is shifting, or it'll decline depending on how your market's shifting. But in theory, if you have a good service market fit, okay, which is a good ICP with a good service offering, your market should be going up. And the consistency of the content, you know, if you do that content and the outbound hybrid model, if you execute on this model for 12 to 18 months, even if you're in a pretty bad market, you should 100% be able to reach $10,000 per month. If you're in a terrible market, yeah, I mean, you're really going against the grain and that'll be difficult. But do you understand the dynamic and the importance of doing both after I've explained this, okay? Again, I'm just gonna say it one more time because it's so important. The dynamic between outbound and inbound is really important because 98% in outbound are not ready to buy your service. But in, let's say, 6 months, there will be 8% more that are ready to buy your service. But the problem is unless you're doing inbound, you won't actually realize this 8% because 6 months will have gone by and it's highly unlikely that they will remember your cold email from 6 months ago, right? This 8%, this extra 8%, right? So you have to be consistently putting out content, getting your face in front of their face in a virtual reality, which is social media, so that when they are in market, ladies and gents, when they are in market, they come to you. Simple as that. All right? Really important. So that's the importance and dynamic between inbound and outbound. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, wow, Taylor, this was really good. I've never really heard anybody talk about this dynamic between outbound and inbound and how important it is and da-da-da-da-da. There's light bulbs going off. Fantastic. I hope that's the case for you. It truly is the case for me. And I want to tell you that in the link or the description of this video, there's a link that will take you to this landing page where you can sign up to Agency Birth. It's a waiting list. We are planning to launch, or I am planning to launch, a program that has a course and a community that will help you scale from $0 to $10,000 per month. And instead of very high level concepts like this, because this is great, there's the system that we're talking about in this video is going to be in this program. It's going to be step by step and give you everything you need to be able to execute on it so that it's very, very clear on how you can leverage this hybrid inbound outbound model. Okay? So I highly recommend you sign up for that. Again, it's going to be totally free. We intend to launch this program free for, I'm thinking maybe 100, I'll let 100 people in. And I'm going to interview. My thought process is that I'll interview everybody on the phone. I'm going to personally vet and screen everybody. So it's not like you're just going to sign up to the wait list and you're going to get in. At some point, I'm going to send out an email and be like, okay, we're launching. Now everybody fill out this survey. And then I'll vet the surveys. And if I approve the survey, then I'll hop on an interview. And then it'll be like a double screening process. So it's not something like a free Facebook group where you can just join and like, you'll get access to everything. Like, no. If I'm willing to put in time to coach for free 100 people to go from $0 to $10,000 per month, I want to make sure that those 100 people I select are really damn good. And then maybe after we've got 100 people in or something like this and 10, 20 really great success stories, maybe we'll sell the program. I don't know. So that's the plan. Check out the waitlist, join the waitlist if you're interested. If you found value in this video, let me know in the comment section below. Would love to hear your thoughts. If you're interested in Agency Birth, check out that landing page. The link is in the description of this video. Sign up to the waitlist. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Much love. And make sure you hit the subscribe button. Ciao. Hey friend, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to watch another one that's extremely valuable, I just selected it for you and you can check it out by clicking it right there on the other side of the screen across from my face. All right, friend, enjoy. Thanks for watching the channel.